Welcome to Strictly Busyness, a podcast dedicated directly for entrepreneurs, salesmen, hustlers, and dreamers. Today is Sunday, February 27th, 2022, episode 3 of season 1. I am your host, Benjamin Hall. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've been receiving lots of love and support, and we're only 3 episodes in. Like I said, anybody that's new to the podcast, we want to thank you so much for joining. Welcome you. This is a podcast in which we discuss and seek education through entrepreneurship, business, anything macro, microeconomic, right? So each episode of Strictly Busyness lasts around 5 to 10 minutes. Season 1 of Strictly Busyness will be available for free on all platforms. We will be gathering our audience and growing our channel until Season 2 when we launch our permanent video podcast, which will be available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and more. Like I mentioned before, we're only 3 episodes in, and we've been excited to see your questions, comments, and engagement on the show. Recently, we have asked our viewers to ask us questions in the comments related to anything business/entrepreneurship. Today, I'll be reading 2 questions from 2 of our fans. The first one comes from Connor Wilson. Connor asks, what are your thoughts on NFTs and crypto, and do you think businesses should start transitioning into cryptocurrency or stick with USD? First, I want to thank you, Connor, for your question. And before I go any further, even though this is a show dedicated for this type of stuff, the NFT boom is so new that I think we should take some time. It's like a baby. We should take some time to educate our audience, right? I guarantee 70% of the viewers do not know what an NFT is, or maybe they've heard of it, but they just don't understand. So I'm going to try and put this in the simplest form for universal understanding. An NFT stands for non-fungible token. An NFT is a digital piece of art or asset that sits on the blockchain. The blockchain is the newest form of electronic currency such as crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc. In the most basic form, NFTs are digital art or pictures that are sold and bought. The main purpose of an NFT is for the original creator of the image to receive royalties every time that image is sold or bought, right? But most importantly, an NFT is almost like having a license to the image. That reminds me of, like, the meme that you see all over the world, like, oh my god, why pay 60 million when you could just save this to your desktop, copy image, right? And it is funny, right? But that's the difference. The difference between owning an NFT and downloading an image to your desktop is when you have an NFT, the NFT is secured and protected and almost licensed under the Ethereum blockchain, right? So, if anyone were to sell your NFT, you can collect royalties off that, etc., or where it's going. We always know who the creator was. It never just gets lost, okay? So there are many ways to make money with NFTs. Buying NFTs and selling them for profit. You can create one. There's trading NFTs, renting NFTs, and of course NFT royalties. But most importantly, some of these NFTs are not only sold for money, but some of them are like passes to celebrity meetings, memberships, or even parties. One of my favorite examples of this, link in the description by the way, Snoop Dogg sells NFTs as a pass to a secret party in the metaverse. So that's just like an example. Like, you buy this NFT, Snoop Dogg would allow you, if you have the NFT, it's like a pass, you can come to his secret NFT party in the metaverse, right? So it's just crazy to see, what the power of these things have. But in some cases, the most popular NFTs that you're probably seeing on like your phones or on TikTok or that are reaching the internet are coming from these NFT clubs, technically called collections. For example, the Bored Ape Yacht Club is one of the most popular collections in the world right now, in the NFT world. I think it's like number 2, if I'm not mistaken. I'll be putting some images on the screen for all my YouTube folks, just so you guys can look at this. Like I said, Bored Ape Yacht Club. These are NFTs of apes in various outfits, personified in almost a comedic way. For example, this one is smoking a cigarette. I mean, literally smoking a cigarette. But don't be mistaken. They may seem funny or childish, but these are this is the finest form of modern day art. You could say we're living in the modern day Renaissance. One of my favorite examples came earlier on in the boom, December 2nd, 2021. The Merge was an NFT designed by creator Pack. P-A-K. It is the highest selling to date NFT. It sold for $91.8 million. So that just goes to show you, these may be monkeys smoking cigarettes, but they're not cheap monkeys smoking cigarettes. I will be displaying a picture of it on YouTube version of my podcast, like I just said, and as well as the links to the piece of the description on all platforms, as well as any other piece I talked about, just so you guys can have that. But that is NFTs in a nutshell, digital art bought and sold with digital currency. So back to Connor's question. Personally, I think the NFT space, like I said, a new renaissance, it definitely will have a bigger impact than I think we're realizing. I've been doing graphic design in Photoshop since I was like 11 years old, and it's crazy to think that a JPEG or a PNG could potentially be worth millions. I've personally done some research on it, and I've definitely been keeping tabs on the NFT world. I'm hoping to join the community and bring some art form through there at some point in my life, or at least own a few things on there. I think it'll change the way social media and the internet and the virtual world is viewed as a whole. However, to answer your question, do I think something like this has the potential to be an avid currency? Yes. Do I think, however, something along the lines of the blockchain or any of the like Ethereum, crypto will have more of an impact or more of a presence in our society than cash? No. I think these things are still in the pre-stages and they aren't fully developed. I'm sure everyone is aware of, just a prime example of the situations going on in the world right now, right? With the threats of the cyber attacks, I think that's the main, literally, like I just said, a prime example. It hasn't reached its full potential. The internet is still very vulnerable. One wrong mistake could result in catastrophic collapse of economies and incomes. And I think if anything, we'll live in a future with crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all that stuff, and cash, and even NFTs as common currencies, all amongst each other in a world where they just all get along and balance, right? And that was a great question, Connor. We really appreciate you and your support on the podcast, brother. All love for watching it. We appreciate you, and don't be afraid to ask more. We'll still answer them, man. Our next question comes on the same topic of the NFT land, and it comes from our second episode, vending machines and passive income. Jeffrey Manini asks, how do you create your own NFTs and sell them for passive income? Thank you for your question, Jeffrey. We appreciate you joining and supporting the Strictly Business community. So first, Jeffrey, you'll have to have some crypto or Ethereum. Don't be confused. There are lots of different options, website providers that will let you create or sell an NFT through them. You'll need to find your favorite ones. Some of the more popular ones are like Crypto.com, OpenCIO, and I've even heard some people paying designers on Fiverr to create them an NFT and then selling it on like Crypto.com. There's just all kinds of options, but you'll need to set up your wallet on whatever space you select. So like if you select crypto.com, you need to set up your wallet on there, upload your file, and then setting up the sales process. So however you actually design your NFT, that's completely universal to you, but that's just the basic kind of process. And from my understanding, you'll only pay to sell an NFT once it is actually sold. You'll pay a commission based off that sale. So, there's no fees or anything to put an NFT up. So if you have something you'd like to sell, it's free to start, selling, but once you sell it, they're gonna take commissions out of it. I've also heard they've been looking into I don't even know. I have to do some research. I should have done some looking into trying to tax that world as well. I know there's some loops and stuff that people have been going through and stuff like that, but the main piece of advice I want to give Jeffrey would be to spend 40 to 50 hours studying NFTs. Really put in the effort. Like I said, spend the whole 50 hours looking at different creators, buyers, how it sells, where it sells, what it's selling, and just flood your mind with NFTs. Study the space. I would also try and reach out to maybe someone about NFTs. Ask them where they bought their NFT. I'll tell you one thing, OpenCIO, and this episode is not sponsored, is one of the biggest NFT markets right now. So if I were you, I would focus on being educated on that market, learning about it, getting on it, making an account, do whatever you got to do. Most importantly though, Jeffrey, act fast, act now. One thing I've learned about these trends or explosions of markets, it's not long before you're left behind. If you want to be a part of the boom, you're going to have to take some risks, man. And that's what being an entrepreneur is all about, taking a large amount of risk for the greater end goal. And I hope that was some valuable information for all of you. If the NFT space is something you want to join, I would suggest doing it now while it's young and still far away from the mainstream. I will be providing various links to NFT websites where you can view, buy, or sell anything NFT. I highly suggest, if you do not have an NFT account on any one of the providers I have listed in the description, you create one. Just educate yourself, if not create one on all of them. View the different pieces of art. It's actually very cool and a very futuristic thing to see. If you've enjoyed the episode, please click that like button. If you want to stay updated and learn more about business and entrepreneurship, subscribe and follow. It's completely free. You'll receive special access and updates of Strictly Busyness. And if you want a chance to have your question answered in the next week's episode, like Connor and Jeffrey, leave your question in our comments or direct message us anytime. We want this to be an interactive and educational podcast. Not only are you learning from us, but we want to learn from you. And we appreciate you joining. It's been another amazing episode. Join us next week, Sunday, March 6th, 2 2022 at 12 p.m. Mountain Time for our next episode of Strictly Busyness. Like I mentioned, if you're giving us a comment or a share, it helps us keep bringing you free content, and most importantly, you could change someone's life today. Sometimes 1 minute is all they need to hear, and everything changes. Normally, I would end the podcast with a very popular or prestigious quote from other entrepreneurs, but today I thought I would leave my own, especially with everything going on in the world. Each and every one of you listening has power, a voice that could change mankind once and for all. If you have a chance today to be yourself, be greater than you knew you could ever be. Stay busy. Thank you so much for joining us. Strictly Busyness, episode 4, next Sunday, 12 p.m. Mountain Time. What a great discussion today. Feel free to ask us questions in the comments. Leave your opinion down below. Hit that like button or subscribe if you want to stay with us. Strictly Busyness, stay busy.